The near reflex is a synkinesis of three phenomena: accommodation, pupillary constriction, and convergence. Accommodation, involving the change in the shape of the lens, is required for focusing the eye on the image. Pupillary constriction is required for increasing the depth of focus, and convergence, also termed accommodative convergence in this scenario, to maintain fusion and to avoid diplopia. The stimulus for the near triad is retinal blur and conscious visual fixation on a near object. The pathway for the near reflex involves three components: the afferent pathway, the premotor neurons, and the efferent pathway. The afferent pathway follows the visual pathway from the retina to the striate cortex via the optic nerve, chiasm, optic tract, lateral geniculate body, and optic radiations. This is unlike the pupillary light reflex pathway, where, since image analysis is not required, the impulses bypass the lateral geniculate body to directly reach the pretectum. Coming back to the near reflex pathway, from the primary visual cortex, information passes to the visual association cortex, and from there to other cortical areas, both directly and via the cerebellum, to ultimately reach the pretectum of the midbrain at the level of the superior colliculus. The afferent fibers enter the pretectum more ventrally than that of the fibers for the pupillary light reflex pathway. This is responsible for the light near dissociation that takes place in dorsal midbrain lesions. This is the midbrain at the level of the superior colliculus. This is the main oculomotor nucleus, and this is the Edinger-Westphal nucleus. This is the red nucleus. The fibers from the cortical areas and cerebellum enter the premotor neurons, that is the central mesencephalic reticular formation and the supraoculomotor area, that are situated dorsolateral to the oculomotor nucleus and which have recently been found to play an important part in the near response. These are believed to contain the midbrain near response neurons that provide impulses to the motor neurons of the efferent pathway of both sides and inhibitory impulses to the lateral rectus. The efferent pathway starts in the Edinger-Westphal nucleus and the main oculomotor nucleus. The Edinger-Westphal nucleus contains the neurons for the preganglionic parasympathetic fibers for pupillary constriction and lens accommodation, and the specific neurons subserving this function are termed the EWPG. These parasympathetic fibers from the Edinger-Westphal, along with the somatic efferent fibers from the medial rectus subnucleus of the oculomotor complex, travel in the oculomotor nerve. The somatic efferents supply the two medial recti for convergence, and the parasympathetic fibers synapse in the ciliary ganglion, reaching it via the nerve to inferior oblique. So this is the oculomotor nerve dividing into two. The inferior division further divides to supply the individual muscles. The parasympathetic efferents travel in the nerve to inferior oblique to reach the ciliary ganglion, where they synapse. The postganglionic fibers travel in the short ciliary nerves that pierce the eyeball around the optic nerve, travel in the suprachoroidal space, and ultimately supply the sphincter muscle for meiosis and the ciliary body for accommodation. Only about 3 to 5% of the fibers supply the sphincter, the remaining supply the ciliary body. The postganglionic parasympathetic fibers from the ciliary ganglion are unique, as they are the only ones in the body that are myelinated. Myelination helps in quicker pupillary response times. And finally, a note on the theories concerning the control of eye movements. Hering's binocular theory is that a single impulse directs both eyes simultaneously, whereas according to Helmholtz's monocular theory, each eye is independently controlled and binocular coordination is a learned behavior. If you like this video and wish to show your appreciation, you can make a small contribution to help support the channel by way of super thanks. If you click the three dots here below the video window, you will see super thanks. Click on it, choose how much you would like to contribute, and then hit buy and send to complete the transaction. Thank you.